Election is only 32 days away. We have two major candidates for president. One wants to take away your health care, already took away reproductive rights, was found guilty of 34 felonies with more to come, was impeached twice, and openly tried to overturn the election. The other candidate isn't the first candidate. And that's kind of...
Jimmy Kimmel was just days away from losing his show for good, and no one saw it coming. The longtime late-night host found himself at the center of a firestorm that involved a fatal shooting, political pressure, and some of the biggest names in Hollywood stepping in to save him. So what exactly happened behind the scenes? And how did Kimmel manage to pull off a comeback that shocked everyone? On September 17th, fans tuned in expecting to see Jimmy Kimmel live, like always, but it never aired. ABC suddenly announced that the show was being pulled indefinitely. The official statement from Disney, ABC's parent company, claimed it was to avoid inflaming a tense situation during a highly emotional time for the country. At first, it sounded temporary, but things escalated fast. Nexstar Media, the largest local broadcast group in the US, stepped in and declared it would stop airing Kimmel's show completely, replacing it with other programming across more than 200 stations nationwide. The news sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. After all, this was a show that had been on the air since 2003, and no one expected it to be pulled so abruptly. Transition. But what could Jimmy Kimmel have possibly said that caused this kind of chaos? The controversy began with a tragedy. On September 10th, Charlie Kirk, founder of the conservative group Turning Point USA, was fatally shot while speaking at an event at Utah Valley University. The shocking incident instantly became national news. Kirk was just 31 years old, and the suspect, Tyler Robinson, was quickly arrested and charged with aggravated murder. Across the country, reactions were emotional and deeply divided, especially given Kirk's role in politics and his outspoken views. Transition, and that's when Jimmy Kimmel weighed in, setting off a chain reaction no one could stop. On September 15th, during his opening monologue, Jimmy Kimmel started by discussing world events like he always does. But eventually, the conversation shifted to Charlie Kirk's death, and that's where things went sideways. Kimmel first expressed sympathy, even posting condolences online earlier that day. Instead of the angry finger-pointing, can we just for one day agree that it is horrible and monstrous to shoot another human? But on the show, his tone changed. Kimmel criticized political groups for how they were responding to the tragedy, saying, "We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it." And then came the moment that would dominate headlines. Kimmel played a clip of former President Donald Trump addressing reporters about Kirk's death before suddenly talking about White House construction plans. With his signature sarcasm, Kimmel quipped, "Yes, he's at the fourth stage of grief, construction." Some laughed, others didn't. Transition, and what happened next would turn a late-night joke into a national controversy. The response was immediate and intense. Nexstar Media released a statement calling Kimmel's comments offensive and insensitive at a critical time in our national political discourse. They announced that all ABC-affiliated stations under their control would stop airing Jimmy Kimmel live indefinitely. Even the FCC chair, Brendan Carr, praised Nexstar's decision, posting on social media that broadcasters must push back on Disney programming that falls short of community values. Then, former President Donald Trump himself chimed in, celebrating the suspension on Truth Social, writing that it was great news for America. For a moment, it looked like Kimmel's career might actually be over. Transition, but Hollywood wasn't going to let one of its own go down without a fight. Almost immediately, the entertainment industry rallied behind Jimmy Kimmel. Over 400 celebrities signed a powerful open letter defending Kimmel's right to free speech and condemning his suspension. The list of names was staggering. Jennifer Aniston, Ben Affleck, Tom Hanks, Selena Gomez, Pedro Pascal, Meryl Streep, and many more. Other late-night hosts also publicly supported Kimmel, including Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, John Oliver, Jon Stewart, and Stephen Colbert. Even icons like Conan O'Brien, Howard Stern, David Letterman, and the cast of The View spoke out in his defense. The message was clear. This wasn't just about one joke, it was about the future of late-night television and the freedom to speak openly. Transition, meanwhile, behind closed doors, Disney was scrambling to figure out its next move. Over the next several days, Disney executives held private conversations with Jimmy Kimmel, trying to calm the storm. On September 22nd, Disney finally broke their silence. Their official statement acknowledged that Kimmel's comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive, but they also revealed that, after careful discussion, they felt the situation could be resolved. And with that, they announced the decision fans had been waiting for. Jimmy Kimmel Live would return to air on September 23rd, just 6 days after it was pulled. It was a shocking turnaround that no one saw coming. Transition. but Kimmel's return doesn't mean the future of his show is secure. Even before this controversy, Jimmy Kimmel had hinted that his current 3-year contract, signed in 2022, might be his last. In a February 2024 interview, he admitted that while he always ends up staying longer than planned, he could see himself walking away when the contract expires. He said, "I still have a little more than 2 years left on my contract, and that seems pretty good. That seems like enough." With the events of this past week, many are now wondering if this controversy will push Kimmel closer to the exit. In just 1 week, Jimmy Kimmel Live went from being pulled indefinitely to staging a dramatic comeback. The incident wasn't just about a single joke, it exposed the growing tension between politics, entertainment, and free speech. As Kimmel returns to the airwaves, one thing is clear: late-night television is more unpredictable than ever. And as for whether this was a victory for free speech or a warning sign for what's to come, well, that's a debate that's only just getting started. Transition, and that leaves one big question for the future of late-night TV.